Hi everyone, as usual this is Mboriho, a court of calls, Nyar, Konyang. And of course, what do I have in store for you today? Let's get to look at relationships with stepchildren. Relationships with stepchildren. And I first want us to understand what I'm trying to bring out here. Now, I'm trying to talk about a relationship where children are involved. Either a man has a kid or kids, or the lady has a kid or kids. And now love comes in between. Now, there's something that frustrates so much. Something that is so absurd. You find that a lady falls in love with a man who has a kid or kids, And at first, both parties are just okay. Then I don't know what really happens in between after marriage. Now, either the lady or the man begins viewing these step kids as rubbish, as some garbage, as some burden. What I want us to understand here, you lady outside there and you man outside there, is the fact that children are very innocent. Children are very innocent. And let it sink in your mind or in your brain that not even a single kid choose whatever families they want to belong to. Children don't send applications to get involved in relationships where a father and a mother, find themselves parting ways at some point in time. They never write letters or append signatures, to fall victims in whatever torn apart relationships they find themselves into. I want us to understand this fact. A kid or kids only fall victims of circumstances. They become victims of circumstances. Finding themselves in a relationship that could not really work out. And because now the two parties could not cling on to something that is not really fit for both of them, they then decide to set each other free. Which is not wrong, But it's so much unacceptable. It's such a sad situation when I decide to love a man who has either a kid or kids. It doesn't matter the number. There could be 10 kids. There could be 20 kids. Or it could be one kid. Now a lady or a man falls in love with either a man or a lady who already have either a kid or kids. There is some point, because you want to win the trust and the love of, the other partner, you decide to lay low, take to a lower profile, coil your team. Until now things get to some higher notch that there's no turning back. A point where we say forward ever, backward never. And let's talk of these relationships could be went into marriages. And then now this is when the whole trouble begins. This is the point when you come to understand that actually in this room or under this roof, you are living with a kid either you didn't suck or you didn't give birth to. Do we have a heart? Do we understand that these children are innocent creatures, the innocent parties in this relationship that you set your feet into? And in connection to this, I want to make it so clear that it doesn't matter whether either of the party made it so clear that I have a kid or I have kids. It doesn't matter whether after dating for several years, you get to realize that either of the party got a kid or kids. What I want you to understand, and screw deep, is that this kid or these kids are just victims of the circumstance that you are also getting yourself into. Everyone would want to raise kids with the original parents. Let me say original parents, because when you come into a family where already kids exist, you're not the original parent of, you're not the biological parent of these kids. You're not the maternal parent, you're not the paternal parent. But since you had accepted to get into this relationship, either knowing that these kids existed or this kid existed, or after realizing or on realizing after some time that either a kid existed or kids existed, you have to accept your battle and fight it. Don't drag the innocent kids into your issues. Love them as your own. Because there's no way you're going to tell me that you're going to fully love the chicken or the hen, or the hen, and hate on the chicken. You do chicken, but you don't do eggs. A lie. So let's try and understand that at the moment you're giving consent to a relationship, that already a kid or kids existed. Try as much as possible to be the mother to those kids, to be the dad to those kids. And if you happen to have kids together, now putting aside these other kids, my friend, don't you dare do a mistake of hating on those children. Treat them as yours. Treat them as your own. Take them as your own blood. Take them as it's you who serve them. It's you who gave birth to them. Children suffer in the hands of either stepmothers or stepdads, which is so much uncalled for. It shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be that way. Why are you hating on innocent souls? Why? What did they do to you? Did they invite you into that relationship with their dad, with either their dad or their mom? You got in willingly. You grabbed this kid or this kid's happiness. That the kid or the kids were enjoying with either their mom or the single dad. You grab it and throw it into the dustbin. Do you have a heart? Put yourself in their shoes. Could be you lucky enough to have been brought up with both parents, which also want to remind you that you should count it as a privilege. Who knows what would have happened? Who knows if at some point you'd have fallen victim of being raised in a step family. So let's respect single dads with their kids. Let's respect single moms with their kids. And if you decide to get into this relationship, acknowledge the fact that this kid or these kids exist. Give them the fatherly love, give them the motherly love. You that is watching this video, before you get into a relationship, do a background check. Get to know if this man or this woman has kids or kid. Do yourself a soul searching, consult yourself. Hold several meetings with yourself like, yes, am I ready? Am I ready to subscribe to such a relationship? Am I ready to give my all to these kids like mine? Like though they were my own. Am I ready to treat them like though they were my own? Am I ready to make them the best mom on earth? Am I ready to make them the best dad on earth? Am I ready to give them the reason to realize that in as much as they don't live under the same roof with either their biological mom or their biological dad, they have all the reason to smile on earth and say, well, God, bless my stepmom, bless my stepdad. These children did not send an application letter. These children did not sign anywhere. They did not append their signature. They did not stamp it all. So it's high time we stop, or you stop, viewing stepchildren as burden. If you weren't ready to accept them as your own, it's better early you break a heart of saying, no, I can't put up with this relationship. Reason being, I can't put up with another man's children or another man's kid or another lady's kids. Other than conflating, pretending to be nice, and then once you set your feet into this family or in this relationship, you walk down the aisle, or maybe you rather do the traditional weddings or whatever, whether it's a come and stay. And then at the end of the day, you begin frustrating these children. Oh my God, it's not really okay. It's not really good. It's unacceptable. Remember, you're not going to be alive like forever. At some point in time, you're gonna exit this life. And remember, at no point are you going to exit this life alive. So try to figure out that at the moment when you shall have left, until we meet next time, I was yours, one and only Mbori Hopakov. Of course, Nyar Konyango. Remember to watch, remember to subscribe and share.